Hello, my name is Declan Henry. I'm an author and social worker. Originally from Ireland, from County Sligo in the Republic of Ireland, but I've lived here in the UK for the last 30 years. I've got a Master of Science degree in mental health social work from King's College University in London, and I'm also a qualified social worker. I've written extensively on mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder, ADHD, and I've also written a book about young offenders, and also another book about transgender people. I've always wanted to be a writer. Since I was a young boy, I've always dreamed about being a writer. It was only when I returned to being a mature student in the 1990s that I really got into writing, and I was encouraged to write more. So in the last 12 years, I have almost written constantly. Well, last year my book on transgender people came out, and I was at a launch reception for this, and people that was at the reception knew that I was a social worker. And during one of the intervals, I was asked, do I encounter radicalization that much? And the honest answer was not so much in my line of work. So it was kind of the seed that was sowed there that I thought more and more, well, actually, I don't really know that much about Islam and radicalization and extremism, and I thought that might be a really, really interesting topic to write about. And that was where the first seed was sown. So therefore, I came up with the idea that I might really like to write a book about Islam. And I thought in the first that I would write it about young people and extremism. However, I changed my mind because first and foremost I thought I must learn more about Islam. I must really get to know what the religion, the substance of the religion is about before I actually start interviewing people about extremist views and so on. So I'm glad I've taken that approach, because for the last 3 months I've been studying Islam and meeting various different types of Muslims, Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims and Ahmadiyas. And I'm really glad that I've taken this approach to it. Very spiritual person. I mean, I've always believed in God. I've always believed in Jesus. I'm a Catholic. I grew up as a Catholic. I can't say that I'm a churchgoer. I still occasionally go to church, but I'm what would be commonly known as a lapsed Catholic. But I've always had a strong faith. I've never stopped believing in God or Jesus, and I've always been, spiritually minded. It's a beautiful, rich religion. I've met the last couple of months I've met, some really fascinating people who've told me some fascinating facts about Islam, about the Quran, about the Prophet, Muhammad. And it's been a fascinating journey so far, and hopefully I can convey this on paper and make it a really interesting book for non-Muslims, because the book is predominantly going to be for non-Muslims. It's going to be kind of information, a guide towards for them to see Islam in a different light, rather than what's being portrayed in the media at the moment regarding extremism and radicalization. That gives a very dark view of what Islam is about, which in actual fact, real Islam is not about that at all. Well, I looked at the different types of Islam in my preliminary research, and I became quite interested in Ahmadiyas because you are different to Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims in the sense that you have your own caliph. And that you kind of have it's just a different kind of Islam. So therefore I think it was really, really important to discover it more and to come and meet followers of this particular pathway. It's different, but the people that I've met so far, I really do feel a great peacefulness in the Ahmadiyas that I've met so far. Everybody seems to be incredibly knowledgeable about Islam, very helpful, very cooperative, and it does seem to have a nice peacefulness. I'm not saying that the Sunni Muslims that I've interviewed that I'm getting anything other than that, but in particular with Ahmadiyas, I feel more. It's they're very comfortable people to be around. I just hope to write a book that gives a balanced view of Islam to non-Muslims. I'm not out to insult Islam or to insult the Prophet. I just want to give, you know, a balanced view about what it means to be Muslim in today's world, and for people to actually see a side of Islam that they probably haven't been introduced to before. And, you know, I want to, you know, explore contentious issues, particularly around women in Islam, homosexuality in Islam, Sharia law, and so on and so forth.